Welcome to the Steve Reeve Podcast with the best moments from the past week and a few things that didn't make it to air. Monday.
The MTV Video Music Awards, the VMAs, were last night. And, of course, a great number of acts that we don't play were represented. It's really kind of a new artist thing. Anytime that MTV does have an award show, a lot of the fresh faces, they're trying to market it to a young generation, of course, or at least those who want to feel young. But one thing did happen that was a touchstone to the past, and that was Mariah Carey getting the Video Vanguard Award, which, of course, is given to people who have had a legacy of very interesting and successful music videos. She certainly fits the bill. And she was able to perform, of course, in part of that celebration and acceptance of that award, a medley of her mega hits. I don't think they've realized yet what they've done. However, she has been awakened early. And now we will hear her voice upon the fell air as each autumnal gust of chilly wind blows past us. Oh, God. She's coming!
It's time for Cruz Music News with Steve Reeve.
The MTV Video Music Awards were last night, and there was a big tribute to Ozzy Osbourne in the mix. Youngblood, very talented musician who was at the farewell show for Black Sabbath, was at the VMAs and got to sing 2 songs solo, with accompaniment from musicians, but Crazy Train, as well as Changes, then joined by Joe Perry and Steven Tyler of Aerosmith fame to perform Mama, I'm Coming Home. And everybody in the crowd was absolutely eating it up. Bruce Springsteen made a surprise performance, a memorable moment for people that were in the audience for the 50th anniversary symposium at Monmouth University of the Born to Run album. A great number of people who were a part of that album or even the tour to support it were gathered, bandmates, roadies, photographers, and on the bill was a secret live performance that didn't have any artist attributed to it, and as soon as people were told they had to get back to the theater and lock up their phones ahead of said performance, must not have been so much of a surprise anymore. Sadly, we end off with some tragic news as one of the co-founders and main singer-songwriters in the world of Supertramp has passed away. Rick Davies has died at the age of 81. In a statement to Variety from his family, it did say that he had succumbed to a long illness and that they're very, very sad to announce the death. There might be, a few extra people lining up for lunchtime at Mitchell's over the next couple of weeks, because as we found out over the weekend, there are plans to no longer be serving up those sandwiches and coffee after Saturday the 27th this month. I'm not ready. That's not enough time to prepare. Gonna have to, hit up a little bit more often, I think, just to soak in the sunshine, as it were. They did make a post, so I don't know any of the details, none of the insider knowledge or anything like that, but they just say that simply the lease is coming to an end and they've made a very difficult decision to close the chapter after, so much has happened. Fire, flood, global pandemic, and they say a whole lot of sunshine bread. And it's been more than a takeout stop for lunch breaks and everything like that, even morning pick-me-ups. It's a place that I would show people that were visiting here in Fort McMurray. It was one of those rays of sunshine, pun intended, where, I'd go, are you by chance a sandwich person? To people visiting or even people moving here new going, I got the lead for you on where you should definitely stop and grab something delicious. And we even got to do a radio show there once, broadcasting from Mitchell's. I got to do the tour of the building and see, the historical aspects of it, the history of it. So, I'm hoping that it does stay a touchstone, a historical part of the downtown of Fort McMurray, for years and years to come. But now we know that the doors for Mitchell's itself won't be open past the 27th, and I'm going to have to take until then or longer to deal with that fact.
Tuesday.
That's no way to go through life, son. A man arrested for driving a Barbie dream Jeep in BC. Oh yeah, the pink one and everything. It was a Power Wheels style Barbie car, so powered, and therefore just barely counts as a vehicle because it's not under muscle power. Of course, not a street legal vehicle, but I guess the driver was using it to get around during morning rush hour just before 9 a.m., which is what prompted the calls. It might not have happened at a quieter part of the day. People just might have laughed it off. But no, it was like rush hour. And the kicker is that police quickly found that he had a suspended license and allegedly failed a field sobriety test, a.k.a. triple not allowed to be doing that. Honestly, at that point, just walk, dude. Just walk. In fact, walk it off and think about life while you're at it. The Conjuring, Last Rites, and they call it the last movie in the franchise. I don't believe it for a minute, especially because it made $194 million worldwide from opening weekend, which is the biggest open for a horror movie ever. I said yesterday that this franchise is the MCU of horror, and I actually had somebody answer back to tell me the many reasons why I'm wrong. So wrong, sure. It's not a one-to-one thing. It's not as many movies, not as many dollars, sure, but come on. They even had a sort of like team-up crossover movie in the middle where Annabelle woke up a bunch of demony things from the room of cursed objects. You know, a totally normal room to have in a family home.
You're listening to the Steve Reeve Podcast from 100.5 Cruz FM.
We've got a couple stories to talk about. Michael Stipe has been clarifying even more lyrics from It's the End of the World as We Know It that fans often get wrong, and has also led to a bit of a decrease in the dependency, or at least the trust towards lyric sites on the internet. They could be wrong, especially when the artists don't actually put the lyrics in the liner notes. When they do, it's so valuable, so appreciated. Vanilla Ice in the news because he was performing in front of a crowd again, thanks to Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler's got a new comedy tour that he is rolling out, and to open up the act, he said, "We're going right back to the 90s now. Everybody's officially a teenager." Bringing out Vanilla Ice to perform, of course, Ice Ice Baby. What else? Bryan Adams announcing some UK arena shows for the end of the year. He had some very successful ones over across the pond with the Roll with the Punches tour so far. So an extension or new dates? Not exactly sure, but tickets will be on sale for that before too long. And that's about it for your music news this morning. I have had a bout of car sickness once or twice. You know, it's not a regular thing for me, but it absolutely has happened, and it sucks. You just feel such an intense wave of nausea, and with little relief other than staring down the tunnel of the road to try and just alleviate. Some people get it all the time. They're afflicted by it, and the worst part is that stress can trigger it all that much sooner. And if you've got anxiety about having car sickness and you're going to be facing having a car ride where you might get sick, just thinking about it, just knowing it's coming, just anticipating it can make it happen. But there might be a cure. Ah, yes. A very amorphous one. I'm sorry. It's not very definite, but researchers decided to look into the fact that music does have the ability to lower anxiety. This has been proven. This has been recorded. So what if lowering that anxiety with music were also to help out with specifically car sickness? And they found in their limited study so far, small sample size, blah, 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 the most effective relief was joyful music with a 57% reduction in feeling terrible, and soft music with a 56% reduction. And then also sad music amplifying those feelings and making recovery from a car sickness state slower than if you just did nothing at all. So maybe don't be having a cry if you're prone to the car sickness, and put on something happy. What is that song? Well, that's the hard part. You got to figure out what's joyful for you. They didn't give you a song to just put in your playlist.
Wednesday.
We're asking the big question today. What is the most iconic moment from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air that comes to mind when you think about that heavily beloved sitcom that, by the way, premiered on this date, September 10th, 35 years ago? That's a little bit tough to take. I feel like Will finding out that his mom has, let's say a friendly fellow in bed with her when he goes to check on her. There's so much to choose from. Patrick was saying, well, maybe one of the first dressings down from Uncle Phil to the Fresh Prince early on in season 1.
Let me tell you something, son. I grew up on the streets just like you. I encountered bigotry you could not imagine. Now, you have a nice poster of Malcolm X on your wall. I heard the brother speak. I read every word he wrote. Believe me, I know where I come from.
Oh, yeah, good stuff, good stuff. And then we also had Vanessa jumping in there immediately to talk about the time that they got trapped in the basement from the earthquake.
I'm stuck in a basement sitting on a tricycle, girl getting on my nerve. Going out of my mind, I thought she was fine. Don't know if her body is hers.
We've got an update in the Coldplay Gate scenario. A little bit of context, in fact. I'm talking about that viral moment that has been recreated so many times with people being caught on the kiss cam, hiding from the kiss cam for some reason, as if they didn't have the opportunity to maybe hide during the 5 people that were featured on it before them. Whatever. But it was all to do with the CEO of this company being with the chief people officer of the same company, and they're both with different people. But it turns out that Kristen Cabot, the woman in question, had actually already filed for divorce from her husband. The man named Andrew Cabot has spoken out saying, no, they were already in the process of separation. They had decided to divorce. And great, now it's public. Everybody had a laugh. Maybe you can just leave us to our privacy at this time. I kind of doubt it, but hey, I think we've let it run its course. System of a Down. They're going to be on the road in the UK and European stadium circuit with the Queens of the Stone Age, starting off in London, not too far away from now. Of course, far away geographically. And Gorillaz have made the return of Kong Studios, a virtual creative space public. They had this out on the internet. It was something that I definitely was locked into for a while as they were preparing to release their, I believe, Plastic Beach album. Now they're bringing it back, a gamified return of this interesting fan experience where you can explore the rooms of the various characters of the not real but very real band. And with a new trailer released by their YouTube channel just yesterday to announce it. That's it for your music news this morning. From Apple down in California, new products that people are going to be able to spend their money on. You'll be able to do the pre-ordering as of the 12th, and I think they actually arrive on the 19th. And that'll be eaten into your holiday budget, that's for sure. Well, they can all get boxes of chocolate. It's fine. But the biggest, I think, surprise was the announcement of the iPhone 17 Air. First time that they've made an Air version of an iPhone. They've done so for the MacBook. They've done so for the iPads, I believe. At least they've made super thin ones. And this one, just 5.6 millimeters thick in spacecraft titanium. I'm flashing back to when they put out their previous most thin phone, and immediately it turned into Bendgate. It was just bending in people's pockets, left, right, and center. Could be sharp enough to slice sushi. Probably not a good idea, though. Just stick with the knife, the Shentoku. We've also got the iPhone 17, 17 Pro, and 17 Pro Max. The Max is kind of crazy. It has just so many cameras. It's got 8 different lenses, 3 different 48 megapixel sensors underneath. What does that mean? Well, it means that all your selfies are going to be turning out just crisp as you've ever seen them before. And AirPods that not only measure your heart rate, they can translate live languages into your ear and presumably know when your boss is calling to automatically screen that call. It's basically getting 3 new jobs, and you're sticking all of those jobs right in your ear. Maybe it knows you a little too well.
Transmission over. Want more Steve? New podcast episodes happen every Friday, or just tune into the Steve Reeve Show. Weekday mornings starting at 5:30 a.m. on 100.5 Cruz FM.